Okay. Oh, look at that. Might have to adjust that. Okay, I think we're all set up in wowzers and ready to go here. We'll just wait for some people to join us. Do a little over one stitching here. I decided to work on this today since it's not having to change colors. And I'm trying, operative word there is trying, let me see if I can zoom this out just a little bit. Let's go this way. Oh, okay. Let's try it now. Oh, that's pretty good. Put me back in the corner. Okay. Oh, hi, Mindy. Oh, you were watching that 10 stitch one. Yeah, I don't know how, well, good. I hope it helped. I'm not really great at 10 stitching. It's not something I do a lot of, but I tried to share what I know, so I hope you found it helpful. Hi, Jolie. How are you this morning? And Angel, hi. Thanks for dropping by, you guys. I decided today to work on something a little different rather than my Stitcher's Retreat because this is easier to stitch and talk because it's all one color. And I'm doing an experiment here. We'll see how well it goes. I'm I'm trying to which way there. I'm trying to practice stitching in hand. Oh, good, Mindy. I'm glad. I'm glad. Like I like I've said, I am not a professional. I am just somebody who, other than the few classes I took with the National Needlework Association, I really am basically a self-taught stitcher. So it's just pretty much stuff I've learned over the years or figured out over the years. So now today is my, oh geez, see, my big experiment with stitching in hand and trying to get the knack of that because I keep hearing people say how, oh, the sewing method is so much faster, um, especially for small pieces like this. Now, would I try that on my Heaven and Earth design? Oh, I don't think so. I might try stitching it in hand, but I don't think I would do the sewing method. Hi, Ann. How are you today? Glad to see you. Thanks for stopping in. So I'm just fussing around with it here. If anybody has any great insight on stitching without a hoop or a frame, I certainly am open to it. Um, what I did here, okay, the instructions I'm trying to follow, so to speak, are, I keep losing my camera angle here. Nope, that's the wrong way. That's more the right way. Okay. I went to, okay, see you later, Angel. Do stop back. Um, I went to is it Twisted Threads website? Um, if you Google Ruth Sparrow, this is the method that she's pretty well known for her, or was in the past when stitching was popular, was very well known for her over one stitching. And this method that I'm trying to get the hang of here is the way she would teach it. Um, so basically, what it is you do a continental stitch across. You start on the right, you continental stitch across your row. Now, right now, I'm only up 2 stitches because that's all this color calls for. And then you actually, I would turn my work like this if I had more of a line to finish. And then you would just half stitch it on the way back. But since this is only 2 stitches, I wasn't turning my work because it's kind of silly to turn it just for 2. But I'm almost done with this little section of between the windows here. So that's what I'm trying to do and teach myself how to do, because I like to experiment with lots of different ways of stitching. This piece, by the way, is oh, for goodness sake, Brenda Gervais. It's the summer schoolhouse lessons. Let's see if I can. Oh wow, that's too big. I'll switch you to another camera. Hold on. Here we go. Summer schoolhouse lessons, and this is the QRSTUV one. I've already stitched the others on one piece of fabric, as you can see. Okay, some of them are upside down because I just kind of started that way. And, oh geez, stay in the camera, Karen. I'll get used to this stuff yet. This setup, I just have to find some better ways. But what I'm going to do is that iron-on Pellin, I'm going to back this whole piece with that to give them some stability, and then I'm going to cut them out and make them into little pillows. Oh, hi, Lori. How are you? Thanks for dropping by. Glad to see you. So I thought I'd just stitch a little bit until people joined in today. Um, I'm doing really well, really well. Got some laundry done this morning. yuck, something you got to do. And I do have to apologize if you hear the sounds of saws and carpentry, hammering, and whatever going on. It is my husband and my brother-in-law um, replacing our outside cellar door. Here we go. I got to learn to stay in the picture here. Um, our outside cellar door is wooden, and it lays flat in our side porch. So every time we go in and out of that porch door, um, we're walking across it. And I actually think that's been there for the duration of the house remodel, which was done back in the 1930s. Um, we live in a very old farmhouse. It's, well, I'm thinking over 100 years old is my best guess. Um, and that cellar door has, to the best of my knowledge, not been replaced since about 1930. And well, the wood was getting a little funky, rotten, and I don't think it was really the safest anymore. So they're out there replacing that today. So if you hear saws, electric saws, and hammering and whatever, I do apologize for that. Oh, good Lord, Lori. Oh, replacing a roof. I hope it's not too hot there today, because that's killer work. My husband worked in construction all his working life. After he came back from Vietnam in, let's see, well, he came home from Vietnam the year I graduated from high school, which would have been 1969. And he's worked in construction up until the point where he retired. So they sure do know what they're doing. And he put many a roof on in the summertime in the blazing heat. And I hope your hubby and brother-in-law are staying hydrated, because boy, that's the most important thing. So let's see. I'm almost finished with this thread. Um, Maybe I'll wait till a couple more people, if there's going to be a couple more come in. I know Sharon talked about dropping by. And before I go too far, I want to thank so very much Sharon and Jules for giving people the heads up on my channel. That is so very, very kind of them, and I really do appreciate all of that. Um, Great people. Great people. Ah, good deal, Lori. Taking the water and the Gatorade out. Absolutely. Absolutely. They need to stay hydrated. Most important thing. Because we don't want anybody getting any heat stroke, that's for sure. Or heat exhaustion, or any of those nasty things. Let's see. Get another thread here. Ah, okay, Karen, you just stuck your needle. There it is. Oh, good Lord, how often do you do that? Stick your needle somewhere and then lose where it is. Oh. So, what I thought I do today is, we had talked about it the last time I was on, of showing you guys some of the things Oh, hi, Sheila. How are you? Is it Sheila or Sheila? Sheila. Thanks for dropping by. I'm glad you stopped by. The more the merrier. More the merrier. Um, I thought I'd show you some of the projects I'm working on today. Do a little bit of a whip parade. Um, if you guys would like to see that, because heaven forbid that we just have one project going at a time. That's like unheard of. I was just watching Kitten Stitcher on YouTube. She put up another video, or oh, good, man. We'll look at them. But Teresa put up a video that I watched this morning about, and she was talking a lot about how, with all the shelter in place, how sewing, and I think she was talking about machine sewing has gotten really popular again. Um, a lot of the people that repair sewing machines have gotten oodles of machines to have gotten oodles of machines to service because people are into to actually machine sewing again now, whether that's like quilting or making clothing or any of those things you can do with machines. But she felt like um, cross stitch was right around the corner of really making a comeback again. And I think she's right. I really do think she's right. I think, we're all having to shelter in place. Um, I know I'm in Pennsylvania, and all of Pennsylvania is allowed to now open up again. That is, like, hairdressers can open up again, and eat-in places can open up again, and spas and all that good stuff, with the exception of the county that I live in. I'm really disappointed. Um, I'm not going to go into all the whys and wherefores that I think it is because of, but they're saying our numbers didn't plateau like the other counties did, and we're still up there. So our county can't open. But as a result of all the, things being closed and life taking a much slower pace these days, people are going back, it seems, people are going back to being crafty. And I think it's also because, especially where the sewing and using sewing machines comes in, I think it also goes back to the fact that incomes, people have lost income. I mean, how many millions of people have applied for unemployment benefits? So it's, if they're sewing and they're sewing clothing, that's a bit cheaper to do, I think. At least it was back in the day. It's a bit cheaper to do than to go buy clothing. I know, I can tell you, I never forget it. I don't know why it always sticks in my head. When I started kindergarten for a dress for each day of the week. So I had 5 dresses that were my school dresses, And they were all made out of the exact same pattern because my mother was a sewer. They were all made out of, that's right. Absolutely. Smelly? What can I call you besides smelly? Um, I think people are getting tired of watching. You can only watch so much Netflix before you go goo goo gaga and holy smokes. You know, there's only so many things. But I started kindergarten with 5 dresses, all made out of the same pattern. Ah, Kelly, good. I'll call you Kelly instead of, oh, it rhymes. But they were each a different color. So I had one for every day of the week when I started school. And we laughed about it. We often would laugh about that um, because my parents couldn't afford to go out and buy us store-bought clothing. Um, I don't think I had a store-bought dress until I went to junior high school. Mindy, you are so right. Crafts do save our sanity. I'll tell you what, I think stitchers, if we all got together, we could solve many a world problem while we were stitching. It keeps us sane. It gives you time to contemplate about whatever it is you need to contemplate about. So let me lay this down. And I already showed you this. Let me switch to my other camera because it will be better for you to see. And excuse all the paraphernalia here. How I have to set up this works for me. I can't sit in a straight back chair for a long time, so I have to do this, or I tried to do this from my recliner chair. And I got a little wires and cameras and whatever going on here. So let's see. I have my works down there. I'll start with my biggie, my precious one, my favorite one, my oh my God, it soon needs to be done one. And I think most of you have seen the pictures of this, but this is Stitcher's Retreat. So we'll do the drum roll. Let's see. I think I can do it this way. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to have to just slowly roll it up for you. So I'm hoping to get this finished. I hope you can see that. I can't see where I am here. I'm hoping to get this finished by the end of the year. Okay, so you can see this is where am I? You can see I think I'm going the wrong direction. There we go. This is always backwards, but that's what I have to do yet. This is what I have done, and I've been working on this giant thing for 4 years. Yes, it is so much bigger in person. When you see it it's all kind of rolled up and you don't get to really appreciate how big it is, but it's huge. And when it is done, it will have a predominant spot in my living room where I can look at it all the time because all the time and energy and oh, all that goes into this is, yes, I mean this year. Yep, I'm going to try. I'm going to try to get it finished this year. So I already showed you I have a little basket beside me here, so hopefully. This is Blackbird Designs Anniversaries of the Heart. And it has been in my work in progress pile for quite some time. And that's really all I have done on it. So I started this a couple years ago and just kind of found it again when I was going through my basket. Um, one of these days I'll get back to it. I hope to finish it at some point in time. So this one needs to come out and play sometime. Okay, let me put that there. Okay, so I'm going to stack these up on the... Okay. Oh, this is a fun one. This is so much fun. By all the blackbirds. Yes, you are right, Kelly. All the blackbirds. They are so nice. I have that, is it the one with all the flowers? I can't remember what it's called. I have that to do. I have, oh my, I need to live to be about 150 or, well, no. I need to live to be about 250 to stitch all that I have here. I'm way behind on this one, but this is the, whoops, wrong way. This is iStitch Designs, the Burgundy band sampler. I'm way behind. I am only on week 12. Get it up here a little closer. There you go. But when I get tired of doing full coverage and parking and all that stuff, I pull this out and do a little bit on it, usually in the evenings. After supper is when I work on that. So that will also get done. I also got from Carol the spools that it goes on. So when this is done, this will get wrapped like this, just wrapped around a spool. And then you can display it however you want. You can attach it permanently to the spool if you so desire that, or you can just wrap it up around the spool and have it out for display. So this gets some love. This is actually a 28 count, and then it's stitched 1/1. And it uses, I bought a hank of it so that I don't run out. It's a Viraswa silk. Yeah, I can either, you can either wrap this on the spool to display it, or if you could also get bell pull hardware and then just hang it and let the whole thing show at one time. So at this point, I think I'm going to do the spool, but I may change my mind and put it on a bell pull. So that's in its little tote. This is a nice one to take with, um, like if you're going to go somewhere and you know you're going to have to wait, like when you go to the doctor's office or the dentist or somewhere where you're going to have to kill some time. This is nice to take with because the pattern I have saved on each week's installment I have saved in Google Drive. And of course I can pull Google Drive up on my phone. So as long as I have my phone with me and I take this, I can work on this basically anywhere. So this is a nice take along project. And of course, I got an extra piece of banding to do something else. So I might make up my own design and put it on that other piece of banding because I also got another spool. So that's that one. Then we have, let's start back here. Oh my goodness, this is an old work in progress that was from, yes, Mindy, you don't have to have a million colors to take with you. That's the other nice thing. It's one color, easy to carry, piece of cake. Piece of cake, easy peasy. This is an, I forgot all about this one, to tell you the truth. I, and it's been in the pile for a long time. This is a Quaker design, Mary Peacock. And I don't have a lot of it done. Oops, I keep going the wrong way. There we go. I don't have a lot of it done. But, yeah, it started. And maybe one day it will get finished. It's on 40 count Graziano linen, which they do not make anymore, which I was terribly disappointed when that happened, when they stopped making it. And the threads are Vicki Clayton's hand-dyed fibers. She would sell thread packs for a lot of the popular designs, and when I was stitching this one several years ago, I need to finish it. I really need to finish it. Um, I have so many Quakers though. Um, One day, if I can figure out how to do it, might have to do it with my phone. We'll take a tour of my living room. There are, well, let's put it this way. My daughter says to me, Mom, you should really just open up the living room and make it a museum and give people tours, because that's how many samplers are hanging in my living room. It's probably in the neighborhood of 40 over there. And then over here, I have, and I'll swing the camera around after I go through these. I have Dutch Beauty finished. I have Scarlet Letters and Med finished that are hanging in here. Oh no, Mindy, 40 count is, that's my favorite count to work with. Absolute favorite. One strand of floss, over two, awesomely wonderful. I love 40 count. That's always my, when I'm not doing over one, 40 count is my go-to. So let's see. Then we have, oh, what was I starting here? I forget what's in some of these packages. Was I going to restart it? What is that? Oh, this has several in it. Okay. These all need some love. These are all full coverage designs that Stitcher's Retreat got in their way. So these are hanging, waiting to be done. This one is Once Upon a Time. I use a magnifier, Mindy. That's why you see double glasses, because I put cheaters on top of my regular glasses, or I have my dazer back here, so I use either one. Um, this is Heaven and Earth Once Upon a Time. Uh, I want to do this, and it's on 20 count, easy count fabric. I would love to do this and get this finished for my daughter. Um, I should have looked these up on the phone, on my phone, so you could see them. I can do that quick. This is the one that says, Once upon a time there was a girl who loved to read. Um, let's see, Heaven and Earth. And by the way, Heaven and Earth has a new freebie out called Head of an Old Man. If anybody is collecting their designs. Okay. Oops. Go. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Now let's see if you can see this. That's the whole design. There. It's a gorgeous design and it's a quick stitch, so it shouldn't take too long. It says, once upon a time in a kingdom filled with enchanted books, there was a girl who loved to read. And that is my daughter. She is a 8th grade language arts teacher, and she loves, loves, loves to read. Yeah, I jump around. You know why I jumped around on this one? Because I wanted to try a diagonal. I wanted to try the diagonal in another direction. So I jumped over here, but I initially started over here. So I kind of like starting from this side better. So when I get back to this, I'll probably keep this direction going. How did I get started in stitching? Oh, my Lanta. That's copying Sharon. Oh, to be purple. Her phrase is "Oh, my Lanta." I thought it was cute. Um, I got started back in the cave days, guys. Back in the cave days. I graduated from nursing school in 1972, and I started working at uh, the local state hospital. So when I started working, I was a psychiatric nurse, and I worked in an adolescent unit at the time. And I worked with a nursing assistant who was stitching. And she was stitching on a piece of 22 count hard hanger fabric, one strand of floss over one. And she said to me, "You ought to try this. It's really, really cool." So at the time, the only place we knew to get any fabric was over, okay, I live in Pennsylvania. I live north of Lancaster, which is Amish country, about a half an hour north of Lancaster. And the only place we knew at the time where we could get fabric was in Ephrata, which is northeast of Lancaster, at the Ephrata Cloisters. So she was going over to get some, and I said, "Well, get a yard for me, and I'll try it." So she brought me fabric. Um, Really, to explain how to cross stitch was really pretty basic. If you can sew on a button and make an X, you can do it. I found patterns in a Good Housekeeping magazine at the time, and it was 4 little, just, well, they were much bigger if you stitched them on bigger fabric, but all we could find was the 22 count at the time. So I stitched with one strand of floss over one on 22 count, and I stitched each of these 4 seasons. Hi, Susan. Thanks for stopping by. Glad to see you. I stitched each of these 4 seasons on this 22 count fabric, one over one, because good Lord, I didn't know any better. And that's how I started. And the rest was really history. I kept going from there. Um, Back at that time, it was hard to find patterns. You did not have the variety that we have today. I mean, I really had to hunt around. I didn't have the internet at the time to be able to go on the internet and find patterns, so it was just a matter of going to places that sold craft supplies and trying to find things that I could stitch. Gradually more and more became available, and there were more and more designers out there, but that's basically where I started cross stitching. Now, where did I start crafts? Ever since I was a little girl. My mother taught me how to knit when I was probably, I don't remember exactly, but I was probably in the neighborhood of somewhere between 5 and 8 years old. Because she was also, not only was she a sewer and sewed all our clothing, she was also an avid knitter. So she taught me to knit when I was very, very young. And I will never, ever forget the first time she cast on the stitches for me. And the first row that I knit, and I could do it, but I pulled that yarn so tight that you could not move the stitches on the needle. So that when I wanted to do the second row of knitting, you knit the first row, turn your needle and go to knit the second row. Yeah, I could not get the needle in my stitch. You could not move the stitches on the needle. It was so, so tight. Even my mom could not move the stitches on the needle. I had pulled them that tight. She ended up having to cut them off and restart me and say, now don't pull it so tight the second time. So that's when I learned how to knit. I did that as a child. I did, let me think what else. Oh, we had the spool that had the nails coming out of it. I can't remember what you call it anymore, but you would wrap the yarn around, and then you used like a hook to take what was on the nail that came out. You would put it up over the yarn, and then it would come out as a long tube through the spool. I made yards and yards and yards and yards of that as a child. Never did anything with it, but I carried all the yards around in a bag, and I would sit and do that for hours and hours on end. Um, I did huck embroidery, which is a special you did on huck fabric, which you can still get today, and you made geometric designs on it. I made Christmas presents for my grandparents and my aunt one year for Christmas. Um, as I got a little older, I started doing stamped embroidery. So I've always done something ever since I was a little girl. Um, However, when I got older and graduated from nursing school and started counted cross stitch, that's the thing that stuck. And I've been doing that for, well, since I'm 21. And I'll be 69 in 2 weeks. So, been a long, long time. I learned a lot. Learned a lot over the years, tried a lot over the years, experimented a lot over the years. And I don't know what this piece is. Okay. Oh, okay. So moving on to some more works in progress. This little bitty start is the start of Childhood Sweethearts. So that's in my pile. Oops, to be picked up again sometime, but it's just a little itty bitty start. And no, I didn't stitch this one diagonally. I was stitching it a little bit cross country, and I really think, I don't know. I think I do better stitching with some kind of regimented way to stitch. Um, Cross country was always my preferred way to stitch, but when you're doing these full coverage ones, you really need some kind of plan, um, because those missed stitches. Yes, I'll show a picture of childhood sweethearts. Absolutely. I will look them up for you. I should have done this ahead of time, and I was negligent in that, so that is my fault. So we'll take just a little bit of time and look them up. There we go. I wanted to look these up. Come on, come on. Before I started streaming, and here we go. There you, oops, there you go. Get the glare off. So where I am is just up in this corner, that top left corner is where I started it. So that's childhood sweethearts. Oh, yes, I am still learning new things. And you know what? We all need to learn something new every day. Every day. I like to learn new things. I like to learn new ways of stitching. Um, I like to try new ways of stitching because you know what? We get, I get bored. Now this one, here I am, this wackadoodle. I started this one in the upper right-hand corner like I usually do. But of course, I thought, I really got to try. Yes. Oh, Mindy, that's so true. Yes, it is so, and it has such nice colors. And you know what? After working on Stitcher's Retreat, I need more color in my life because this is a beautiful design. It is a beautiful picture. It when it's hanging on the wall, going to look like a painting. But oh, the dark colors. And stitch that in the wintertime when it's depressing enough because it's winter. And then all those dark colors, oh, needed some brightness. So this one is called, and I will look this up and show a picture, is called Timeless Elegance. And I started it up here in the upper right corner like I usually do. But then, of course, I decided, well, what's it like starting at the bottom? So I moved down and went to the bottom. Okay, I started at the upper left, pardon me, and I moved down to the bottom right to start down there to see what that was going to be like. So again, experiment, experiment, experiment. It's what I do. So timeless. This one, my friend Barb, Elegance, and I are stitching together. However, she's concentrating right now on bath time, and I'm concentrating on Stitcher's Retreat. So Timeless Elegance kind of got put by the wayside, as so many have. So there you go. Oops, there's the glare. Get the glare off. There you go. So that's Timeless Elegance. Yeah, Kelly, that is pretty brave, switching from one corner down to the other corner, isn't it? Thank God for gridded fabric. And let's hope I counted right. Oh, Val, thank you. It is. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous design. And I don't know if any of you remember designs by Barbara and Cheryl. They were pretty popular back in the, I'm going to say, 80s, mid 80s. And they were full coverage designs. And they're all places in South Carolina. And there's Queen Street Alley, South Battery View, Sunday Morning, Church Street, Iron Gate. Those are the ones I've stitched. And they're all hanging in my kitchen. But they're very much the style of Timeless Elegance. And they're all places in South Carolina. Another popular one that a lot of people stitched was Rainbow Row. That was by Barbara and Cheryl also. That's one I did not stitch, but they're all that same style of piece of picture. And this Timeless Elegance just fits right in with that, which is one of the reasons I chose to do this design. So this is another one I need to get back to at some point in time. Hence the reason I need to live to be 250. Because at 69 years old, can I get these done? I don't know. I'm considering myself lucky if I get Stitcher's Retreat done. But it will all work out. Okay, what's in this bag? Here it is. I didn't know what happened to this one. Um, see, make sure it is what I think it is. Yes, this is a Kathy Barrack, Houses of Hawk Run Hollow. So, again, something I need to give some love and get finished. So, let's see, I got 4, 6. I'm about halfway. 6 more squares to go. And this is on a 40 count piece of lakeside linen. I forget the color off the top of my head. Yes, Susan, I do too. I love Kathy Barrack's designs. And she is such a sweetheart. I was at a day retreat and she was there, and she was there and her daughter Liz were there. And they are both just really, really nice people. It was a pleasure to meet her. And yeah, I like all the Hawk Run Hollow designs too. So I guess I'm going to have to put all these works in progress in some kind of priority and get some things done. 2021 might be the year of finishing up all the junk you got started. Oh, what's this one? Oh, this one is, I'm sure a lot of you know of Barbara Hudson. Well, I know Barbara Hudson personally, another wonderful lady. And she released this sampler, not this past market, but the market before. But before she released it, she sent me a message and said, Karen, I got a sampler for you. You're going to love this one. You have to stitch it. And I looked at it and I said, when she told me the name on the sampler, I said, I don't care what it looks like. I want it. Save one for me. I will be there and get it. Well, not at market, but I said, I will get in touch with you when you release it, and I want a copy of that. So it is called Miria Bug. Let me take it out of the wrapper. You can see it better. Get rid of that glare. 1845 Miria Bug. So, hence, do you think I had to have this sampler? Do you think I have to stitch this sampler? Absolutely, because I have never seen... Hi, Rebecca. Glad you're here. I have never, ever seen a sampler with the name Bug on it. And of course, that's my last name. So how could I not get this sampler? And how could I not start this sampler? So I did, and wrong bag, too many bags here. I started this sampler. Oops, there we go. That's my start. Okay, hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, if there's a gentleman here. I am going to stitch this, or I am stitching this on, are you ready? Sit down, don't be standing, because you don't want to stand, because you'll fall down when I tell you. Get that out of the way. Okay? This is being stitched on 56 count Meldal, Meldal linen. It feels like a bed sheet. 56 count, 56 count, one strand of DMC over 2 fabric threads. Let me get it up real close for you. Can you see that? Oops, wrong way. And it is so much fun. So much fun. Yes, I must use a magnifier. Absolutely. I sit over here and I have my Dazor. And you know what? I'm going to tell you. Stitching on, this is not a linen. This is an even weave. It is 56 count. It is an even weave. It is made by Zweigert. However, you can't buy this in the United States. You could for a little while. However, it was not popular enough. So Zweigert stopped sending it over here. And fortunately, I made an internet friend, real sweetheart, who lives in Germany. And she was able to purchase it in Germany for me and send it to me. So she sent me a yard of this. Now, let me tell you what, a yard of 56 count is going to last you a long time because the pieces are not that big. This is what I have stitched is from the center to the one edge. So this is already half the design. So it's only going to be like over to here. Over to here. It's not going to be that big. It's going to be little. But oh, it's so much fun. It is so much fun to stitch on. And when you have it in a hoop, the threads are much easier to see than a 56 count linen. That sounds like it can't be true, but it really is. It's, I mean, it would be, it's hard for me to show that to you because I can't get it would get all blurred and you couldn't see the threads anyway, but I mean, I don't know. Can you actually see that? but it really is a lot easier to see, and especially when you have it in a hoop and you have your fabric tight, like you should, the threads are not hard to see. And with a magnifier, it really, really is easy. And those stitches are so teeny tiny. They're so cute. They're absolutely cute. I love it. I love it. So this really needs to come out and play. I am changing a few of the colors. I have decided to do that, just to make it more my own. And then what I'm going to do is put her name on it and the date, and put my name on it and the date. And then hopefully when I'm not here anymore, it'll be something that my daughter will keep. And if she doesn't and it goes to the Goodwill, well then okay, it goes to the Goodwill. But having found a sampler with the same last name as mine on it, it just screamed, you need to stitch me, you need to stitch me, you need to stitch me. So that is probably going to be on the priority list of the let's finish some things 2021. Okay, and we're almost done. Two more. This one, Barb and another friend of ours we went to Woodlawn, which is in Alexandria, Virginia, and it was an estate where I believe it was, and I probably have the history all wrong, but I believe it was where one of George Washington's nieces lived. And this estate and Nellie's Needlers, which is the Embroiderers Guild of America group in that area, hold an annual needlework show every year. However, this year, of course, with all the COVID stuff, it was canceled. But we were there at the show, and there was this awesome looking fractal design that was stitched and shown, and it was gorgeous. So, of course, when we came home, we started looking up fractal designs, and we found one on Heaven and Earth called Fractal 6. So let me find you a picture of that one. Oops, go back. Go up here. And it is really gorgeous. Okay, let me fill this in. F-6. So we all decided, the three of us decided we were going to stitch it. Well, let me just say that my other two friends are way ahead of me because I get too distracted on these other things. But this is what it looks like. Oops, wrong way. There we go. It's gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. But holy cow, look at all that black. Holy smokes, the whole outside is black. But look at those colors. They are amazing. Totally amazing. So this is another one that's gonna need to come out to play, because let me just say that both Gay and Barb are way, way ahead of me. This is all that I have done. That's the extent of my completion. I have been stitching black, and then I stitch black, and then I've stitched some more black. Here I started getting into a little bit more color here, but let me tell you what that color is. 939. Who can tell the difference between 939 and black? Especially when you're stitching it a side of black. But this one really does need to come out to play. So I really do need to get caught up to my two friends. So again, this is on the list to get some love. Yeah, 939 Angel looks exactly like black. And then we have black and more black. So this one I will continue to stitch on the diagonal for the simple reason that I'll get some color along the way. I won't be stitching just pages and pages and pages of black. Now that I started getting into the 934, the other colors are going to start to come in. So it should, excuse me, it should work out that I would get black, color, 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 black. And I can stay off of the black train because, oh, just stitching miles and miles and miles of black is something else. Oh, okay, Angel, just let me know. And I'll, okay, I'll try and answer them. I just bought my MacBook Pro last year when I started I did my first couple YouTubes with my iPad. Um, so I don't even think it's a year old. It's, I want to say, is it seventh generation? I believe a new one just came out. Oh, my main question for him is, am I okay to what I'd like to do is stream to Twitch and YouTube at the same time. Okay. Now, I did find that Ecamm goes to that app that he told me about that you stream to that and then it can go out to others. I can do that with Ecamm. That's already set up. All I got to do is make an account and it's real easy to do with Ecamm. So I have that, will have that ability. But my main question is this laptop powerful enough to continue doing what I'm doing? Or would I be better off buying a desktop computer with more power or more whatever it takes to be streaming to multiple places at the same time? So that's really my biggest question. The rest I can fiddle around with and figure it out. But that is that's my main concern. Do I have what I have in this laptop? Is that enough to continue doing what I'm doing, or should I trade in my laptop and get a desktop that has more, say, RAM and processing and all of that stuff? So if he could let me know what he thinks on that, I would appreciate that. Oh, Mindy, I did think about doing it on black fabric. However, for me, these old eyes, black fabric is so hard it's hard for me to see. Even with putting white, like a white pillowcase on my lap, I just have trouble with black fabric. So I'd rather, in the grand scheme of things, I'd rather stitch the black than, than stitch on black fabric. Right. I'm not playing games. No, when I stream, this is all I'm doing on this. In fact, that's really what I bought the MacBook for, and I really don't use it for much of anything else. So thank him for that, and I appreciate his input. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I would have to change where I'm streaming from. I'd have to change my environment. So, yeah, if he thinks this MacBook is good enough, yeah, and I tried to get their top of the line that they had at the time. Well, not the top of the line, which was like thousands of dollars, but that in between level from not the cheapest but not the most expensive, so that I have some. I don't remember all the specifics on it at this point, but I tried to go with something that I thought at that time was pretty good for what they had available. So thanks so much, Angel. You guys are the best. You guys are all the best. Arrow, you're stitching Fractal by Cross Stitch Collectibles. 36,000 stitches of, oh, yeah. Oh, so you're going to do it on black fabric. Hey, go for it. If you can see that, awesome sauce. That's great. I know I can't see the black. On the black. Uh-huh. Okay, so my last work in progress. Do you think I have enough? I don't think I can find a couple more. I think this is all I got. But my last one, and I'm really liking this, um, is it Cottage Garden Needleworks? Is that what it's by? Oh, Little House Needleworks. I'm sorry. They're sheep virtues. So a lot of people were doing all the sheep virtues on one big piece of fabric. Yeah, Angel. I feel the same way. Not to use black ever again. I can't see it. I just can't see the stitch on it, even with white underneath. Little House Needleworks did the sheep virtues, and a lot of people stitched them on one big piece of fabric, and then there was another design that they put in the middle. Well, I had a piece of, I think it's 36 count linen banding. So I decided I was going to make them into a band sampler. So I started out with 6, and then I found another design that had sheep in it. So I'm putting, this is half of that design. Then I'm working on the other 6, and then I will put the other half of that design at the bottom. Now, let me, okay, this, I better take it out. Okay, see you later, Bear. I can't remember what your first name was. Oh my goodness. Sheila. Sheila. See you later. Thanks for stopping by. I so really, really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Okay, so this is the design by Little House Needleworks that I found that kind of matches or fits in with same kind of uh, that fits in with the sheep virtues. So I'm doing this one, and I'm putting half of it in the middle, and then I will put this other half at the bottom of the design. And instead of writing "my sheep hear my voice," In there, I'm going to put, I haven't quite decided yet. Um, in there, I think I'm going to put my name and the year, and then somewhere at the bottom, probably underneath this one, I'm going to put where I live, like Myerstown, Pennsylvania, so that it will be one big, long, long bell pull. So see, there's plenty of room in here to put my name and the date, and then, like I said, I'll get down here to the, I left myself enough fabric so that I don't run out, and then I'll put the location, like where I live. But this is a fun one, and it really doesn't, what I kind of like to do, because it really doesn't take that long to stitch, is in order to get this finished, I'd like to do a block a month. So I have 4 more blocks to do. So I could, and then the bottom part. So I could conceivably finish this in about 5 months if I do a block a month. So that's going to be my goal so that I can get it done. I'd like to get it done and hanging this year because I think it is really turning out nice. I'm very pleased with how it's coming along. And yes, I've changed some colors so that, because the sheep, the color that was called for the sheep, which was I think it was ecru, wasn't showing up on my banding. So, I changed a couple colors. I changed the colors of the sheep. I changed a couple other colors because, you know what? Even though think you have every floss color under the sun, when you go for a certain one, it's the one that you don't have that you need. So I changed colors to match colors that I already had, and that was that. So that is my work in progress. All my works in progress. Oh no! Wait, I lied. I lied. Oh my goodness! How could I forget this one? Let me just shove these back in the basket here. I have one more. Call me a liar, liar, pants on fire. See, I have this basket here, then I can just, most of the time I work on Stitcher's Retreat, but if I feel I need to do something different, I have my basket here and I can just pull something out and say, okay, let's have at it. Okay, my last one. Put this down. Probably gonna have to readjust that camera because I keep bumping it. Um, this one is all Jules's fault. I'm blaming it on her. It's all her fault. She had to go and show us what's in there. What is in there? Oh, my marker. She had to go and show us her Ronnie Rose. So, not only did I buy one, I bought a bunch. So, this is the one I'm working on. It's called Williamsburg 1776. And this is another good travel project. This is how far I am. Oh, it looks a whole lot, it looks pretty nice when you show it up on the camera, doesn't it? So I am just a smidge away from halfway. I just have to finish in here to the halfway mark and then do the bottom. Now, probably most of the stitching is down at the bottom. But oh, these designs are cool. I love his designs. Um, yeah, I'm such an all or nothing person. I bought all of them, with the exception I did not get the newest ones that just came out at market this year. Um, but I did get all the other ones. Yeah, and I was lucky enough. He even signed my copies of all the ones I bought. How cool is that? So when again, this is another one that I pull out when I um, get tired of full coverage and parking and all that good stuff. So there you have it. That was the end of the parade. That is all the works in progress that I have. So if I make 2021, thanks. If I make 2021 the year of finishing things, you betcha I got my work cut out for me. It's going to take me more than a year to finish all of those because okay, who's jumping on the bandwagon? Yes, that Jules is an enabler, Rebecca. Absolutely. Hi, Alma. How are you this morning? Good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. I want to know how many are jumping on the long dog sampler bandwagon because I ordered yesterday. Haha, got your copy ready to stitch. Way to go, Alma. It's probably pretty early out there, isn't it? Let's see, you're 3 hours behind me, so you're probably looking at what, 9, 10 o'clock somewhere? Oh, almost 11. Okay. Oh, geez, it is almost 2 o'clock here. Holy smokes, where's the time go? Yes, I downloaded. Oh, and Pandemic is not out of your league. It is X's and just X's and more X's. Rebecca, me too. I'm going to start them both. Death by Cross Stitch and